All right. Hopefully we can get started. There's some time. If you hear noise in the background, don't worry. It's just my AC. I'm hooking it up. It's springtime already, so I figured I'd get everything all hooked up here. But without further ado, welcome to the Wrestling Pod. I'm your host, Carlito Santiago, and today we're here to talk about what went down on Friday Night SmackDown. Shout out to Chris Muller for the Bleacher Report. We're just a bit over 2 weeks away from WrestleMania 42. So the roster is doing everything it can to hype up all the matches set for the PLE. What was said, what was done? Well, let me pull up my notes here. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you guys the WrestleMania match card matchup, like what I think is going to happen or what's going to be on night what, So, hang tight for a bit as we get there. But, without further ado, let me actually bring this down. The Viper is ready for Mania. After usual shots of superstars backstage and the recap video showing Stephanie and Cody in the ring, Randy Orton hit the ring. He spent a long time letting his music play as he paced to the ring, his hometown crowd still wanting to cheer for him despite being a heel, and he couldn't help but smile when they started chanting his name. He pointed out his family in front of the front row and said he is doing all of this for them in what came across as more of a babyface promo than anything else. He tried to add some heel lines, but all it did was make the crowd cheer louder. As expected, Rhodes came out and got into a fight with him. In a surprising turn, we found out who was the mystery man on the phone. It was none other than the Colts kicker, punter, the man who can drive a ball up the post. I think he's actually the punter. Pat McAfee kicked Rhodes below the belt before helping Orton continue the assault. He gave a heel promo while the Viper continued to keep Rhodes grounded with a steel chair. There was a lot of speculation about who Orton was talking on the phone to. But McAfee was probably the last person anyone expected it to be. Unfortunately, that is not always a good thing. Their alliance feels random and does nothing to help an already established Orton look like a bigger threat to the title. So, graded a C+. I wish it was somebody else. I wish it was maybe, I don't know. I wish maybe like Zilla Fatu would have been a good choice, right? Go back to the old, what was supposed to be the original legacy. If you guys remember Manu. Anyway, Rhea Ripley took on Michin. The first match this week saw Rhea Ripley battle one of the women who turned on her last week. Well, not really turned on her. But after a couple minutes, Rhea Ripley was in control, but got distracted while Cargill showed up at ringside. This allowed Michin to hit a German suplex as the show cut to a break. The Eradicator eventually made a comeback, used her Prism Trap submission to get the victory. She wouldn't let go of the hold until B-Fab attacked her. It took some help from Io Sky to send Cargill and her friends packing. Even though the outcome was extremely predictable, this was a solid back and forth match, and it's definitely the best Michin has looked in quite some time. Not only that, but to insert Io Sky into this match helps out a lot. I hope Io also is okay. I did not talk about this on Monday Night Raw because I did not see the clip of Io. I didn't really catch Io versus Asuka, but she took a bump in a match. She took a big bump, suicide dive, looked like she almost broke her neck. So I hope she's okay. Again, Io Sky, wishing the best. Grade a B-, and for the first two segments, B-, C+. Uncle Howdy took on Tama Tonga. See, Tama Tonga had some harsh words for Solo Sikoa about why they are fighting over a lantern. So Solo told him to go fight Uncle Howdy. Tama was up to the task, but said he wanted to do it alone. The commercial break came quickly, but Tonga was firmly in control at that point. Neither man had their respective stable with them, so it was a fair fight for once. Thank God. Until it probably wasn't. This was a pretty physical match, but it felt like something was missing. There was no sense of urgency to anything. It felt like they were going through the paces, then having a brutal grudge match, which is how this should have felt. Howdy had Tonga locked in the mandible claw. When Solo showed up and tried to interfere with the lantern, the ref caught him and Tonga. The ref caught him and Tonga Loa probably, told him he wanted to do this alone. Or no, okay. Sorry. Correction. Let me redo that. So we're talking about Tama Tonga. It's so crazy because Tongalo is also like these names are fucking hard to remember. So stick with me. Let me read this again. Howdy had Tonga locked in the mandible claw when Solo showed up and tried to interfere with the lantern. The referee caught Solo, and Tonga told Solo he wanted to do this alone before turning right into the Sister Abigail to give Howdy the win. After the match, Tama Tonga ripped the lantern out of Solo's hands and allowed Uncle Howdy to reclaim it. It looks like the MFTs have some internal problems to deal with. So it looks like we got, I hope this is over. I hope this whole fight with those Wyatts and the Lantern is over. Please let it be over. Just get us into booking fucking, Tama Tonga as a solo superstar, please. Because I think him and his brother can do a lot of shit together. Please. Like, Tama Tonga's gonna fucking, back out of this shit. Anyway, we get to some hype. A promo. A segment. Trick Williams and Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn was talking to Nick Aldis backstage before his scheduled promo, but Trick Williams' music hit, and he came out to the ring with Lil Yachty by his side. Now we're just allowing rappers and celebrities to come out to WWE. Like, I thought this was a WrestleMania thing where we had celebrities come to WrestleMania. What the fuck happened? Anyway, they proceeded to give a speech about how Williams will win the U.S. title at Mania from Zayn. Williams called for some pyro, which led to Sami Zayn coming out instead. The champ told Trick Willie that he is in over his head because he is about to step in the ring with one of the best. The crowd was behind Williams more than Zayn, which made the segment feel more awkward. During St. Louis, you're going to hear Sami Zayn get booed a lot, too. So, which is really weird as well. Carmelo Hayes showed up and said he is upset with how things went down last week. He and Zayn went back and forth about what happened until Melo talked him into a rematch for tonight. Zayn ended the segment by clotheslining Williams over the top rope. This segment started off weak, but it finished strong with the addition of a title bout on the card, which will probably be the main event. Fatu also gave a direct promo to McIntyre. I don't know much of what he said, but we'll move on because we got some more lackluster shit. C+. Matt Cardona took on Aleister Black. So everything we just did with Matt Cardona and Randy Orton, we just gonna throw it out the fucking window, act like it didn't fucking, we're just gonna fucking move on. After they had a run-in backstage early in the show, Matt Cardona and Aleister Black met for a singles match. Zelina Vega accompanied Black to the ring, as usual. They started with some simple takedowns, but Cardona's injured arm was giving him some problems, and he became the main focus for the Dutch Destroyer. It made sense for this match to become about Cardona's arm, but it also prevented them from having the kind of contest we know they could have had with no, shenanigans. They did some decent work in this bout, but you could also see their lack of experience working together, showing a bit. Both men are veterans, so it wasn't overly obvious. But if they had more matches, they would definitely improve on this one. So, again, it's kind of rough to kind of give us, it's kind of hard. I'm grabbing the pen if you guys can see. It's hard to pin in a veteran like Cardona to put into with Black. Because, like I said, no experience. I never mentioned the time that Aleister Black fought Zack Ryder in fucking NXT. There wasn't a time where that happened. So to put these two in the ring together, two overly great veterans, and not, maybe this is the waters. This is where they need to test the waters and see how they do together. Then, go on their separate ways. Because right now they're going to go on their separate ways like it is. This is not a feud. It's not going to fucking lead us to anything. So Black took the victory in this one, but there's a good chance that this is just the first of what could be a feud. But I don't think it's going to be. I think we're just going to move on. We're going to build up Aleister Black to probably win the U.S. title. I would. I mean, shit. If you guys remember the time when me and Lewis did the streams for, Universe Mode, I made Aleister Black U.S. champion, and he was fucking decent with it, Ran that shit. Anyway, C+. We're going to move forward. We got a women's tag match here. Bayley and Lyra Valkyria versus Bliss and Flair. The next match on the card featured Lyra Valkyria and Bayley fighting Flair and Bliss ahead of their Fatal 4-Way Tag Team bout at Mania. All four of these women are baby faces, but there is a lot of history between Flair, Bliss, and Bayley. So there was enough animosity to make it feel a little bit personal. Lyra and Flair ended up as the first legal competitors after Bliss and Bayley fought out of the ring. The show cut to an abrupt break with Bliss and Flair in control. The amount of breaks in this fucking show and the amount of breaks on Raw and on SmackDown is getting out of hand. We need less of those and more action. Even start us with, say, fuck this shit. We're not opening with a segment. Every fucking, and this is WWE's format now. We got to open up with a talking segment. No, bitch. I want to open up with a match. Anyway, while most of this match was fine, the fact that Bayley and Lyra were booked to lose, clean, this close to Mania, felt like a strange call. Booking one of the teams fighting for the titles to look weak this close to the pay-per-view doesn't make much sense unless you're going to have them win. But a clean finish is still better than an interference. And guess what happened? We had an aftermatch attack because Lash Legend and Nia Jax showed up and took out all 4 women. As a result, felt meaningless anyway. So, it didn't matter. But, again, to see Bayley and Lyra get beaten clean and then get assaulted right after just shows that this is the weak point. This is very weak. It doesn't provide anything for Bayley and Lyra. It more so feels like they're going to take the loss at WrestleMania. I don't think they're going to take the loss at WrestleMania. I think they're one of the teams who might win at WrestleMania. But until we find out which one's on which night, I can't give you my predictions yet, and I'd like to hold off. I will be telling Lewis who I think is winning, because I think I already know everything. Let me pull up the card here. I practically know these 4 matches, the first main World Championship matches. I know who I think is winning. It's everything the fuck else. It's everything the fuck else. Anyway, C+. R-Truth, Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae had a quick interaction backstage, but so did R-Truth. R-Truth also had an interaction with Damian Priest as tag team partners, tag team champion buddy. Hey, Damian Priest, did you hear about Danhausen? Yeah, that ain't Danhausen. That's Asuka. The amount of shit and cleverness that R-Truth has, Damian Priest ain't taking it either. Like, I feel like Damian Priest asked to be partnered with R-Truth. Anyway, McIntyre responded to Fatu's video with one of his own, that pointed out Fatu's criminal background. Ooh, see, now we're spicing it up. Now we're making it personal. I like that. But yeah, R-Truth made it funny and also talked to Aldis about getting a tag team championship match tonight. And guess what? Here we're at. R-Truth and Damian Priest defended the tag team titles against Kit Wilson and The Miz, which could actually possibly set up, of course, a WrestleMania match, as we see Jelly Roll and Danhausen versus Kit Williams and The Miz. So, Kit Williams and The Miz had their first match as partners this week, and it was a title bout against R-Truth and Damian Priest, to boot. Before heading to the ring, Danhausen offered to remove the curse from The Miz and Wilson, but the A-lister yelled at him, so the curse was still in effect. Wilson and Truth started for their teams, and it was immediately clear that this would be a comedy match at its core. This week's show was pretty weak overall, and adding this match didn't do it any favors. They didn't do a bad job, but it was just another predictable outcome. So this is basically here's your sum up. Here's your sum up of this week's show. All right, I will see you guys next week. Peace. No, okay. Danhausen appeared and wanted The Miz to tag in him, which the referee tried to tell him wasn't legal. The A-lister screamed at him to go away and tried to talk to the referee, so Truth tagged in Danhausen instead. Miz tried to take out Danhausen with his finisher, but he disappeared. When it looked like The Miz was going to win, the referee suddenly had problems with his arm due to Danhausen accidentally cursing him. Yes, I just read that. The referee went 1, 2, and then his arm gave out. Listen, I'm not that mad. I'm as much as I want to be frustrated and yell and get mad. The fact that they summed it up with Danhausen's curse, because Danhausen obviously probably cursed The Miz, obviously. Priest fought the win for his team, but the referee still acted like his arm was in pain. Some of this was funny. Most of it felt like a waste of fucking time. And it fucking was. So you know what? We're giving this a fucking D. Alright? As much as I want to give it a fucking F, it's not getting a C-. It's getting a D+ at best. Or just a D. Fuck that. A D. The Miz selling ability is underrated, and he makes everyone he fights look good. That's great. Plus, Danhausen hasn't hasn't had a WWE match yet. He probably will at WrestleMania. Who knows? Maybe the post-show might give him a match because you know, like how they like to book 2 hours of a post-show full of fucking talking. Anyway, Priest and Truth retain the titles. This is graded D. This fucking sucked. This did nothing to help the show because we get to our U.S. title match, which didn't even live up to what they potentially could have. This week's main event is brought to you by Icy Hot. No, it's not. It's not. The U.S. Championship match rematch between Sami Zayn and Carmelo was your main event. They got started with about 13 minutes left in the show. This was not going to be your A+ unless it really had the time to stand out. So we knew that this wouldn't be very long as soon as we began. They wasted no time locking up and trading holds. Williams and Lil Yachty sat to watch the match next to the announce table. As the show went to its final break, this shouldn't have even been a break. Fuck that. 13 minutes and you cut to a fucking break? No. Nope. Now I know why it got to B+. They went to a final break. Fuck that shit. Melo hit a huge dive and began to sell a leg injury. We all know how well these two work together after their previous matches, so it shouldn't come as no surprise that they ended up putting on the best performance of the night. Both men hit each other with their best shots, but it was Zayn who emerged as the winner thanks to a Luva kick. Now Williams would attack Zayn after the match, and Lil Yachty joined in to help him. Also, Cody Rhodes attacked Wilson after his tag team match and ranted about Orton and McAfee. That took up probably the rest of what was Carmelo Hayes and Sami Zayn's U.S. title match. So, fuck you, Cody Rhodes. But what was the final grade? Well, Friday Night SmackDown had some highlights. That's the best I can tell you. But this show, as a whole, was one of the least memorable episodes in recent months, which is saying something after last week. And this close to Mania, WWE has to deal with having most of the big matches already booked, which means it needs to find ways to fill the time between now and the PLE. Sadly, it's a lot of repetitive storyline developments and predictable moments. Pat McAfee joining Orton was generally shocking, but not necessarily in a good way. If you only want to watch one thing from the show, please go out of your way and make it the U.S. title bout, because there's nothing good of the show. So, as much as I changed the grade, I'm going to keep the grade the same, a B+. And because of its D, honestly, the C- grading stays. This show was not memorable, and this close to Mania doesn't help it at all. You need to step it up, WWE. And I'm going to even make sure that I add something to the fucking title of this. But what did you guys think of Friday Night SmackDown? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe, drop a like, and of course, turn on those post notifications so you never miss a stream. I will be back on Tuesday for the Raw review. And then the second that I come back, April 14th, my cousin's birthday, Lewis's birthday, you will get the final Raw before WrestleMania. I can't wait. The predictions also will be, let's see the calendar here. I think it's the 16th. You guys will get the predictions the 16th, the 14th, the final Raw before WrestleMania, and of course, the 18th, SmackDown. Yeah, SmackDown summary. And then, of course, you will get night 1, and then night 2, and then Monday, April 20th, you will get the WrestleMania review, and on Tuesday, the Raw review. A lot of things. WrestleMania weekend is a big fucking week, especially here for me on streaming. It's going to be hard because this little box here is going to be fried. My little PC box is going to be fried. But we're going to do it, and you guys are going to see it right here. Lewis should be over by that point, so we'll be great. But I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Peace. Oh, also, to mention, this is what I have too. Got to show you. This is what I think for the matchup. Just a little, showing. But this is what I think is going to happen. This is what I think night 2 is going to be. This is what I think night 1 is going to be. Because WWE seems not to do it them damn selves. But, hell yeah. I think that Liv Morgan and Stephanie McKeer should be the fucking main event for night 1. Punk and Reigns for night 2. Orton and Rhodes don't deserve it because of lack of storyline. I'm sorry. It's just a lackluster. It's fucking lackluster. Fucking, you're not convincing me. You're not convincing me. They should don't get me wrong. Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar could fucking open the show too. Like, whatever it is. You want to have the WWE Championship open the show? Fuck it. You want to have Oba and Brock open the show? Please, by all means. But let the women's main event. Let the Women's World Championship main event. Or, fuck it. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I just think that should be the case. I don't think that. I think that Morgan and Bakir should open, or sorry, should close the show. But I won't know until we know. We won't know until we know. So until we know, this is what I think. I'll see you guys Tuesday.